What I'm about to tell you will make you question whether someone can actually see the future, because a homeless man predicted 3 murders with details so accurate that forensic experts called it physically impossible. Robert Mercer walked into the Prescott Daily Herald on a Tuesday morning, handed the receptionist a sealed envelope, and said, "Open this in 48 hours. It will tell you about 3 murders that are going to happen." Then he disappeared. I'm Daniel McKenzie, and the Prescott prophecy killer case forced police to confront something they thought belonged in fantasy movies: genuine precognitive knowledge of crimes that hadn't happened yet. Here's what was inside that sealed envelope, opened exactly 48 hours later, with multiple witnesses present. 3 detailed descriptions of murder scenes, complete with victim names, addresses, methods of killing, and time of death, plus hand-drawn sketches of unusual markings that would be found on each victim's body. Within 6 hours of opening the envelope, the first murder occurred exactly as Robert had predicted. Same victim, same location, same method, same time of death to the minute. The unusual markings on the body match Robert's drawings perfectly. By the way, everything I'm sharing comes from actual police evidence and witness statements included in my book, The Impossible Files. The sealed envelope was photographed, fingerprinted, and stored in evidence before being opened, establishing an unbreakable chain of custody. The second murder happened 18 hours later. Again, every detail matched Robert's predictions exactly. The victim was found in the precise location described, killed by the exact method predicted, with the unusual body markings identical to Robert's sketches. But here's what made this impossible. Robert's drawings included markings that had never been disclosed to the public, details that only the killer or the coroner could know, symbols carved into the victim's skin that weren't discovered until the autopsies. Detective Sarah Morgan led the investigation. She told me this was the most disturbing case of her career because Robert's predictions were 100% accurate for details that didn't exist when he made them. He drew the exact pattern of cuts on the first victim's arm before those cuts were made, Detective Morgan said. He knew the killer would leave a playing card in the second victim's pocket before the killer decided to do that. He predicted elements of crimes that the killer himself hadn't planned yet. The FBI took over after the second murder, treating Robert as the primary suspect despite his impossible knowledge. They found him living in a homeless shelter, established a complete alibi for all 3 murders, and discovered he had no connection to any of the victims. This is just one of 16 psychologically impossible cases I document in the Impossible Files. Link below. But what makes Robert's case truly unsettling isn't just his accurate predictions. It's that he was as disturbed by his knowledge as everyone else. Robert underwent extensive psychiatric evaluation. He passed every polygraph test, showed no signs of mental illness beyond anxiety about his strange knowledge, and voluntarily submitted to hypnosis, drug-induced interviews, and brain scans. The results were clear. Robert genuinely believed he was seeing future murders in his dreams. He wasn't lying, wasn't delusional, and wasn't connected to the crimes in any conventional way. The third murder occurred exactly as predicted, completing Robert's impossible trilogy. The FBI had Robert under 24-hour surveillance during all 3 murders, with GPS tracking, video monitoring, and multiple agents confirming he was nowhere near any crime scene. Yet his knowledge remained impossibly accurate. The forensic evidence analysis took months because investigators couldn't explain how Robert knew details about murder weapons that hadn't been chosen yet, crime scene elements that hadn't been planned, and victim behaviors that couldn't be predicted. Dr. Elizabeth Santos, a forensic psychiatrist who interviewed Robert extensively, concluded his case represented either genuine precognitive ability or a level of criminal coordination so sophisticated that it appears supernatural. The killer was eventually caught through conventional police work, DNA evidence, witness testimony, physical evidence. Marcus Webb, a delivery driver with no known connection to Robert, confessed to all 3 murders. During interrogation, Marcus revealed details that made Robert's case even more impossible. Marcus claimed he hadn't planned any of the specific elements that Robert predicted. The unusual markings, the playing cards, even the exact times of the murders were spontaneous decisions made in the moment. Yet Robert had predicted these spontaneous decisions with perfect accuracy. Marcus had never met Robert, never heard of him, and couldn't explain how anyone might know his plans when he himself didn't know his plans until he carried them out. Quantum physicists studied Robert's case because it suggests information might travel backward through time, but they admit this contradicts fundamental principles of causality and physics. Right now, you can read the complete Prescott prophecy killer case and 15 other scientifically impossible crimes for just $2.99. I'm including the actual prediction documents, FBI psychological evaluations, and quantum physics analyses that explore whether precognition might be real. But I'm raising the price to $9.99 next week because universities are requesting this case for their parapsychology and consciousness studies programs. Get it now while it's affordable. Robert Mercer disappeared after the killer's conviction. He left a note saying he couldn't handle seeing more future murders and needed to find a way to stop the visions. Police have never located him, but similar prediction cases have occurred in other cities. Some investigators believe Robert represents a new type of witness, someone who experiences crimes before they happen. Others think his case proves our understanding of time, consciousness, and causality is fundamentally flawed. Get the Impossible Files now for $2.99. Link in description. Because once you read Robert's actual predictions and compare them to the crime scene evidence, you'll understand why police departments are quietly training detectives to recognize potential precognitive witnesses. And you'll wonder, if someone can see murders before they happen, what does that say about free will, destiny, and whether the future is already written?